Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good
Hi.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon. All right. Can sige. Can we start now? So today we will finish everything na about the worksheet so that after this I will discuss about the financial position or your balance sheet. Okay? All right. Ito 'yon. Tayo. Yan. All right. Sige. Can we start now? All right. So last time this is okay, maybe hindi na to kailangan since we have already the adjustment. All right, sige. All right. Last time we discussed about the journal entries, correct? So basically we what we did is we journalize, no? At the same time is after the journalizing is we do uh the ledger. Okay? So we post all of this to the ledger, and then after that is we prepared ano sa trial balance, di ba? So we have our worksheet here. And afterwards, what we did is the adjustment. Correct? So we have here adjustment. Sorry, hindi ko pa ito nailagay, di ba? Alright, sige. I will put it. I think yes, no? It is part of the canvas, di ba? Tama, Jay, di ba? So, I think part ito ng canvas. And then after that is what we did is we put it in the adjustment, correct? And then adjusted trial balance. So the balance of this, if we have here plus or minus in terms of adjustment. So as you notice, no, you have a balance, no, 166,500. All right. After the adjusted trial balance, what we will do is the income statement. All right. We will classify if it is an income statement or if it is a balance sheet. All right. So baka magtaka kayo ha. Income statement, it is now called statement of profit or loss or statement of comprehensive income. All right. Sige, kasi baka hanapin niya. Sir, saan yung income statement? It is now called statement of profit or loss. Pa tayo. Sorry, naghang pa. Right. So it is called statement of, all right, statement of profit or loss. Okay. So statement of profit loss. All right. This is also balance sheet, no? It is now called statement of financial position, diba? Statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. All right. All right. So, 'di ba, we have already here the trial balance, no? Ano nga yung pag-arrange natin, Jay? Ano nga yung arrangement natin in terms of the trial balance? We begin with the
Most
asset.
liquid.
Okay, asset followed by liabilities and owner's equity. Then you have your drawing and you have your revenue and expense. So, in terms of classification in your worksheet, madali na siya, 'di ba? Kasi ito ay arranged, no? In terms of asset, liabilities and owner's equity. So, malamang your cash here is part of your balance sheet. By the way, what composes or what composed of the income statement? You have your revenue, you have your expenses is equals to your net income. How about the balance sheet? Balance sheet is you have your asset, liabilities, and owner's equity. Tandaan yan, ha? Alright. Cash. Cash is part of your balance sheet or income statement.
Balance sheet.
Very good. It
Balance
is
sheet.
part of your balance sheet. If it is debit, so dapat ito ay debit din. Alright. So debit here. Yan. Alright. Ah, yeah, yan. Also, account receivable is also part of your balance sheet. Alright. What else? Cleaning supplies is also part of the balance sheet. Take note, the balance now is here, no? Adjusted trial balance. Alright. How about the prepaid? Prepaid is part of asset also. Okay. Delivery van is also part of balance sheet. Diba? Alright. What else? How about the accounts payable? Accounts payable is part of the balance sheet pero credited, no? Credit. Arab capital is also part of the balance sheet pero credit. Alright. Drawing is also, for the meantime, it is part of the balance sheet pero it will be closed pa sa capital later, no? Yan. Alright. How about the revenue? Ito na. Revenue is now part of your income statement. If we credit revenue, we will also credit revenue in terms of income statement. All right. Salary expense is part of the income statement. Gas and oil is also part of the income statement. Diba? Next, depreciation expense is part of the income statement. All right. Oh, ito. Accumulated depreciation. Income statement or balance sheet?
Balance sheet,
Balance
sir.
sheet.
Very good. Balance sheet, and it is a contra asset. So, if we debit asset, we credit naman accumulated depreciation. All right. Insurance expense. Of course, it is part of the income statement. All right. How about the cleaning supplies expense? So, it is also part of the income statement. Salaries payable is also part of your salaries payable. All right. Yan. So, okay na. So, ito pala, madali lang, no? Income statement and balance sheet, we just classify it if it is profit or loss or income statement or balance sheet. All right. So, after that is we will sum it, no? Sum. All right. Hang yung laptop ko. Ayan. All right. What happened to my laptop? Sorry. All right. So, we sum. All right. Yan. So, how much is this? All right. So, this is 21,500. And this is, oh, hindi bangga. 62,000 here and 138 here. All right. So, bakit hindi bangga? All right. para para it is part of your uh, profit or loss na para bumangga siya. So we will put here on the debit. So ilan yung difference? 62,000 minus sorry, minus 21,500. So ilan? 40,500. Sa kabila din para magbalanse. So we will put it in the credit. 138 less 115,500. Oh, wait. Parang may mali. Salaries payable. Alright. Oh, hindi parehas. Alright. 17,041. So we put it here 5, then 9, 60, 24, 80, 6, then 55, 18. Tama ba? Then 2, then 1.5. Accumulated depreciation is also 1.5. Parang may kulang, no? Wait, ha? Dapat kasi magparehas yan. Alright. We have 14. Where is
Sir, I think yung insurance expense and cleaning supplies expense
Opo,
nasa
insurance
credit.
expense?
naka-credit po
Alright.
sila.
Sige,
Dapat
sige.
sa debit.
Alright, thank you. Bakit siya nasa ano? Okay, thank you, ha? So, 3,000 here and also here. Yan, alright. Thank you, thank you. Alright. So here, okay? So, paano mo malalaman if it is the same? Dapat the balance of it, no, dapat parehas. All right, it should be the same in terms of the balancing figure. All right, what do you mean of 26,500 and 26,500 here? As you notice in the profit or loss, no, your credit, no, your credit here in terms of the income statement, okay? So in terms of the income statement, okay, your credit is more than, okay, your debit. Ano ibig sabihin nito? If your credit is more than your debit, meaning,
Income, sir.
very good, you have a net income. All right, what do you mean of this? So meaning that 26,500 here is what you hold net income. All right. Para in order for that now, of course, if we add if we add the two, so it is now balanced, diba? 55,000 and 55,000, 138 and 138. All right. Sige, later ha. Hang yung laptop po ngayon ha. All right. What is the reason why in terms of the income statement, no? If your credit balance is more than your debit balance, bakit siya net income? Okay? Bakit siya net income? If your credit balance is more than your debit.
So you have
Because,
more revenues.
very good, because you have more revenue than expenses. Alright, yan yung ibig sabihin yan. Alright. Why? Kasi the sales here is basically, or revenue here has a credit balance. Alright, how about if it is otherwise? If your credit is less than your debit, you have a net loss, correct? So you have here net loss. What is the reason? Of course, you have less revenue or yeah, than expenses. Sorry about revenues here. Alright. Yun. Ito yung reason. Alright. How about in terms of your balance sheet? Diba? How about in terms of your balance sheet? How come that if the debit balance naman, baligtad, no? If the debit balance is more than your credit balance, you have a net income. Also, if your debit balance is less than your credit, you have a net loss. O, bakit ganon? Why is it that if the debit balance is more than your credit, you have a net income? Sorry, it should be net loss. But if it is otherwise, if your debit is less than your credit, you have a net loss. Oh, sige nga, what is the reason for this? Why? Because the net
Because
income. Okay, sige, go.
you close the net income to
Very
the
good,
equity.
Alana. Very good. Because the net income here is to be, sige, I will not use close now. To be transferred na lang. Is to be transferred, diba? Is to be transferred to your capital account. All right, to
Retained
your
earnings po ba yan?
capital account. Yes. It is also retained earnings when it is or when your business is a corporation. All right. Capital account when you have a sole proprietorship or if you have partnership. Okay, very good. Or retained earnings. That's why your asset is more than with your liabilities and owner's equity kasi the net income will be transferred to your capital or retained earnings. Right? Yun yung reason, no? Yun naman kabaliktaran, of course, deficit siya. So, yung matatransfer natin is mas maliit siya. Okay, what I mean, pag ang malilipat natin is negative, that's why it will be deducted to your capital account. Alright. Sige, to better understand this now, since you have now income statement and balance sheet, so you can now be able to prepare what? Ano yung una para makuha to? Your income statement. Alright, di ba sino nga to? Si ERAP to, di ba? I think this is eruption. Alright, eruption. And you have your statement of So you have here statement of profit or loss or statement of comprehensive income. Same lang yun, ha? Statement of profit or loss. Okay? For the period ended. For the period ended. Ilan ba to? December, di ba? December 31. Okay? Yan. So in terms of the eruption, statement of profit or loss, so anong gagawin natin? So we put it here, sorry, we put it here, your revenue, correct? So you have here revenue. How much would be your revenue? Di ba ito yan? The revenue here is 55,000. Di ba ito yan? Okay? So you have here 55,000. So you have here 55,000. All right, next, less your expenses. What are the expenses? Diba? Your expenses here. Okay, isa tayo ha. All right, ano expenses? You have your salary expense, gas and oil expense. Copy ko na lang. All right. What else? You have also here depreciation expense. And you have also here insurance expense and cleaning supplies expense. All right, how much is salary expense? Diba ito yan? 18,000 and 2,000. So I will insert na lang ito. So 18 plus 2 and then, sorry. Pay special. All right, and you have also here depreciation of 1.5. And what else? And you have here 2, no? So dapat our net income is 26,500 ha. Kasi baka hindi. Alright. Kasi here, our computation is 26,500. Right. So how much would be our expenses? So if we sum this, diba? So if we sum this, all right. So you have 28,500. So how much would be your net income now? Your net income here, parehas ba? 55,000 less 20. Yun, this parehas. So our net income here is 26,500. So meaning tama ito, di ba? Our net income here is at 26,500. So meaning our net income is 26,500. All right, next. After this is you will prepare for eruption. All right, so this is statement of changes in equity. So I introduce you to statement of profit or loss or the income statement. Number two, FS is the statement of changes in equity. All right. So madali siya in terms of sole proprietorship, diba? All right. And okay, take note of this, no? This is for the period ended December 31. Ito naman as of, diba? As of December 31. All right. Ano pa kakaiba nila? What do you think is the reason why in terms of the profit or loss, it is for the period ended, but in terms of the statement of equity, it is as of December 31, 2020. What?
Cumulative po kasi
Very
yung
good, Lesty. Very
changes
good,
in equity.
Lesty. All right, because statement of changes in equity and the balance sheet are cumulative, meaning it is your real account, di ba? While all of these are nominal or temporary account, all of these are to be closed or to be transferred to your statement, sorry, to your capital account or retained earnings in the corporation. All right, very good. All right. So what is the formula to compute for this? Of course, you have your beginning balance of ERAP, 'di ba? ERAP capital. So how much would be our beginning balance? 'Di ba given naman siya? Ito 'yun, 'di ba? Our beginning balance is 80,000. So we put it here, 80,000. All right. What else? So we add, no? We add here revenue, or simply we add the net income. Okay? We can add 55 and we can deduct 28.5. Pero for the purpose of this presentation, I will just add the net income. Okay? How about net loss? Let us naman decrease. So meaning you will subtract the net loss. All right. So the net income here is how much? 26,500. Sa ito galing. Di ba ito yan? Taas. Da? Yan. All right. So how much now would be your uh, total? All right.
Tulog
So
ka lang kasi
total
lalabas
here.
na tayo.
So the
Labas
total
na tayo.
here is 80,000 plus 26.5. All right. Less your what? Anong less mo? Your ERAP
Drawings.
drawing. Very
Drawings,
good.
sir.
All
Drawings,
right. Very good.
drawings.
ERAP drawings. So the ERAP drawings here is how much? Saan na ba yan? Ito. 6,000. Okay. So ERAP drawing here is 6,000. So how much now would be your ending? So copying ko na lang ito. Alright, so this is now your ending end balance of ERAP capital. Alright, 106 less 6,000. So the answer here is 100,500. So meaning nag-increase yung capital mo from 80,000 of your beginning. Now, as of December 31, the balance now of your capital is 100,500. A even though you have a 6,000 withdrawal, you have still additional 20,500, no? Kasi you have net income of 26,500. All right. Next is your balance sheet now, no? Statement of financial position. So statement of financial position or your balance sheet. All right. As you notice here, no? As of December 31. Nandito to. Sige, sa kabila na lang. Ilipat ko to ha. Dito ko ilagay. Alright. So here, statement of financial position, basically, so the formula here is asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. Alright. So first thing is to put the assets. Alright. What are the assets? Of course, you have your cash. So copy ko na lang ito. Diba ito yung lahat? Cash, AR, office supplies, prepaid delivery van. So, copy natin. Alright. So, how much would be your cash? Ito yan, di ba? Alright. Sana balance eh. Alright. Next, delivery van. You will less here accumulated depreciation. Take note it should be contra asset. Dapat it is after your property, plant, and equipment. So, magkano yun? I think ito yan, 1.5. Yan. So, you have here 1,500. Pero it is a deduction, di ba? Kasi contra asset. Alright. Okay ko na lang sa kabila. Ito ay deduction. Alright. So how much now would be your delivery van? Not anymore 60,000, but 60,000 plus 1.5. Alright, so this is 58,500. How much now would be your total assets? Total assets. So sum is equals to, and how much? You have now 130,500. All right. So far, question ba? Madali lang ba? Reg, question?
Not so far, sir.
All
Thank you
right,
po.
none. All right. After that is you have your liabilities and your owner's equity. Take note that after this, you will prepare for this now as part of your assignment. All right, for next meeting. Okay. Liabilities and owner's equity. All right. Ano yung liabilities natin? I think first thing is you have your, yan, ano yung liabilities? Tama na. Liabilities first. I think you have only one. Tama ba? Liabilities is only here. Accounts payable. So, asa baba pa. And you have salaries payable. Alright? So, you have accounts payable and you have also salaries payable. All right, how much would be our accounts payable? Accounts payable is 24,000. How about salary payable? 6,000 ba? Yes. You have here 6,000. So you put it here, 6,000. Wala na ba? I think wala na. So this is our total payable. So how much would be our total payable? Total payable here is 30,000, di ba? All right. 24 plus 6,000. All right. Next, how about your owner's equity? All right. So this is a capital account. So you have ERAP capital. All right. Ano ba ang gagamitin kay ERAP capital? 80,000 or ito na?
Ending na, sir.
Very good. The ERAP capital now is your, ito na, 100,500. Balanse ba? I think, buti naman balanse. All right. So you have here total liabilities and your owner's equity. Yan. Kasi pag hindi siya balanse, so you need to compute everything or you need to check everything. Kaya kanina, di ba? Yung ginawa ko, yung dalawang expenses ay nasa credit. So hindi siya balanse. So yan. So you need to check everything in terms of the balances. All right? Sorry, what happened? So sum of it. So balance. So you have 130,500. So that's it. So because of this worksheet, no, you can be able to prepare statement of profit or loss, statement of equity, and statement of financial position. Ano yung wala? Ang wala dito ay statement of cash flows. Okay? To be discussed naman on the later part. Why? Kasi cash flow naman is ano siya, parang separate siya in terms of doing your FS. Why? Because it is the summary of cash. Okay? The summary of your operating, the summary of your investing, and the summary of your financing. So far, any question about this worksheet? Don't worry, I will give you this. Okay? And then assignment for next meeting is you will prepare just one, no? Just one of this from the journal entries to preparation of this three. Only three, this FS. So, lahat ito gagawin nyo. Okay? So, again, assignment for next meeting is you will do journal entries, ledger, adjustment. Then you do the worksheet, the trial balance adjustment. Then trial balance ulit, adjusted. Then you have statement of profit or loss, and statement of financial position. Afterwards is you will prepare your FS. All right. So far, any question? Don't worry, meron naman kayong mga CPA classmates, no? So you can ask them, okay? If you have
For,
question, or you can ask me. All right, Martin.
for reference, will you give us that file? Yung,
Yes, yes, yes. I will give you this file. Tama ba? Naibigay ko to dati, di ba? With the Zoom recording na. Okay, I think naibigay ko to. All right.
Yeah, okay.
So I will
Thank you.
update na lang. All right. All right, if none, so we go to the PowerPoint, which is the state. So we are done, We are done in terms of the overall worksheet, the overall accounting cycle. Saan ba nagsimula ang income statement? Saan ba nagsimula ang profit or loss, financial position, cash flow, and statement of equity? Saan ang gagaling yan? Dito lahat, no? Through journal entries, through your transaction. All right? Because of this transaction, you can be able to prepare your financial statement. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, if you have money now, you can buy accounting software, and just what you will do is just analyze the transaction and just journalize. Now, automatic, you have your ledger, you have your worksheet already, and then you want adjustment. Hindi. Adjustment is you are the one who will set up for the adjustment. And after that is you have now your complete financial statement. In the MBA of Ateneo, sabi nila what is the behind of this learnings is gusto namin maano sa inyo kung saan ba nagsimula lahat, the income statement and all the financial statement of the company. All right, any questions so far? Okay, don't be shy, just message me privately or just message me to the class, okay? So if none, I assume na you understand the lesson so far. For the past, I think for the past 3 meetings, no? All right, the accounting cycle. Hi, dyan pa kayo. So wala question.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so malinaw na malinaw. Alright, sige. Now we can go to the chapter 2. Ito pa lang tayo ha. Because chapter 1 is the accounting cycle. Okay. So chapter 2, so I will discuss about some of the FS. No? I will not discuss about the cash flow kasi it is part of the last topic. No? IFRS edition. So kaya ito yung kinuha namin because of the IFRS. So bago lang. Okay. Yan. So I will discuss now balance sheet, statement of comprehensive income, and statement of equity as I prepared that na a while ago. Di ba? Ito yun na. Yun. Statement, ito yan, profit or loss, statement of equity, and your statement of financial position, or what you call balance sheet, comprehensive income, or profit or loss, and equity. So ito lang tayo ha. We will focus more on these three. So later na yung statement of cash flows kasi dapat ano siya, lagi siyang katapat ni FS analysis. Alright. Alright, notes to FS. Okay. So to be discussed 5, 6, 7 to be discussed further pa. Okay. Alright. According to IAS, ano yung IAS nga? State International Accounting Standards 1, no? Complete set of FS. So you have balance sheet or statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, statement of profit or loss or your income statement, statement of statement of equity, and you have statement of cash flows. All right. Pero sa Pilipinas, mayroon pang number 5. Ano yung number 5? Pero ano na, supplemental naman. Notes to financial statements. All right. So in terms of the balance sheet, di ba? In terms of the balance sheet, what are the components of the balance sheet? You have your assets. All right. I think what do you mean of assets? No, resources owned or controlled by the entity as the result of past events. Okay, or because of that, resources controlled by the entity. No, you have a future economic benefits expected to flow from the entity. All right. What do you mean of this? Of course, if you bought equipment, no, if you bought inventories, you have an economic benefit, di ba? If you purchase inventories and you sell it at markup, of course, you have a future benefits. If you purchase building, the use of the building is basically part of your office, no? It will have a future economic benefits, no, in your company. All right. What are the examples of the balance sheet? You have cash. Cash, alam niyo na, di ba? Cash, currency, checks, no? Example, the amount in a company in a checking account. No? You have your AR, account receivable. No? Economic resources arising from providing goods or services to another or to the customer. So, walang pambayad yung customer mo. Sabi niya, sir, pwede bang utang muna? So, you have a receivable from your customer. Okay? It is part of an asset. Okay? Wag malito ha, kasi yung iba nalilito sa account receivable and accounts payable. Account receivable, you have receivable from or to your customer. Accounts payable naman is you have an obligation to pay to your suppliers. Ay, wag malito ha. Kaya nga, receivable mo. Payable, pay mo. Okay? Payable. Yan. Wag malito ha. Alright. Example of account receivable is the companies providing consulting services. So if you have a service department or for service business, now so you provide consulting, you provide advising, and then it will give rise to the company's AR from the client. Sabi ng, may ganun ba? Sino ba dito yung doctor? May ganun ba na engineer or magpapareseta ka, sabihin mo, sir, pwede bang receivable muna? Parang may ganun din, no? Alright. Sa ano ba, Jay? Sa Makati Med? Malamang ang dami yung receivables doon, no?
That I'm not really
Okay, no idea.
yeah,
Alright.
Sir Jane.
Kasi, di ba, I teach also in Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health. No? Mostly of them are doctors. Sabi nila, nagko-compile daw sila ng account receivable. Kasi yung iba, wala naman talaga pambayad sa hospital. Di ba? Yan. So, receivable siya.
Yes, sir. May mga
Sa
ganong
mga,
cases po talaga.
'di ba? Sa mga baryo-baryo pa daw, yung mga doktor doon, tumatanggap daw ng manok, 'di ba? Tumatanggap daw ng gulay. Kasi, walang-wala eh. Papacheck up ng anak, ang pambayad daw ay isang sakong bigas. Ang pambayad daw ay 2 kilong talong. Totoo yan ha? Sa Iloilo, when I teach in Iloilo, Ateneo de Iloilo. Okay? So, may isang doktor na estudyante, no? Sabi niya, ang kapal daw ng kanyang ER kasi ano siya, surgeon, no? So, nagwo-work siya sa isang hospital, eh, naawa din siya kasi walang-wala din yung mga ano niya, mga patient, no? Minsan daw ay nagbibigay lang sa kanya ng manok, buhay pang manok or tilapia. Yan. So it is your receivable to your client, 'di ba? Next, inventory. So inventory naman, items that are purchased or manufactured by the company and it is to be resold. So meaning you sell it at markup, 'di ba? Bumili ka ng mga Coke or bumili ka ng chichirya, okay? Mga chips. Of course, you will set a markup for that, 'di ba? If your price is 50 pesos, you will have markup, let's say 55 or 60 pesos as part of your selling price or sales. So inventory is the items you see on the shelves in Carrefour are considered to be as inventory. All right. Buildings, structures used in the operations of the business. So you have building, you have equipment, you have a transpo equipment. Yan. So meaning it is to be used. So you have personal and real property. Okay. So it is part of your business and it is physical store as classified as the building. Take note, building is part of the property, plant and equipment. So meaning it is subject for depreciation. That's why you have building less accumulated depreciation. Yan. Alright, so far, any question about assets? So, take note ha, hindi na siya limited dito ha. You have pa dito supplies, na? As discussed a while ago. We have here prepaid expenses, prepaid rent, prepaid advertising, prepaid, ano pa yan, prepaid insurance, no? You have also short-term investment, di ba? You have also investment in long-term, investment in associates, investment in subsidiaries, no? You have also available for security. So, ang dami, no? You have also intangible assets, di ba? You have goodwill. It's also part of the assets. Yan. Alright, liabilities. So, in layman's term, kautangan mo, utang mo sa suppliers. Okay? Present obligations of the entity arising from the past events, no? Settlement of which is to pay for cash, of course, the outflow of the entity of the resources embodying economic benefits. So, meaning you have an outflow, you pay cash. Yeah? Sample ba? Yan. Ano yung mga sample ng liabilities? Accounts payable. Okay, again, wag malito sa account receivable and accounts payable. Accounts payable is kautangan, utang mo. No? Amount owed as a result of purchase of goods. So what is the entry? Debit inventory, credit, accounts payable. Diba? Example of this is the amount owned by the company of inventory that was purchased on credit and has not been paid yet. So hindi pa bayad. All right. Income taxes payable. So let's say you have quarterly income taxes. Of course, hindi pa siya pwedeng bayaran. Or, sorry, tama ba? Pwede siyang bayaran pero what if di mo na binayaran, dinelay mo, pero nag-file ka. So it is part of income taxes payable. So amount owed to government resulting from applicable tax laws. Okay? Corporate income taxes owned but not yet paid. So example is hindi pa bayad yung income taxes natin. Alright. Mortgage. Alright, so mortgage is basically amount owed relating to the purchase of property. So, bumili ka ng property pero may naka-attach na payable. Okay? So, that's the mortgage payable. The loan associated with the purchase of the home or building. Okay? Yan. Unearned. Oh, ito. What do you mean of unearned revenue? I think as discussed last meeting. Tama ba? We discussed this, di ba? Tama? That's your
Yes, sir.
deferral as part of the adjustment. Unearned revenue is you receive cash in advance. Correct? So on your part, it is considered as liability. Kasi naka-receive ka ng cash, wala ka pang nagagawa, wala ka pang delivery of goods. So it is an unearned revenue, no? Amount owed in services. Take note, amount owed of services because you receive cash in advance. Kailangan mong magbigay ng siomai or magbigay ng services to the customers as time goes by. All right. Sample, a publisher owes a customer who bought a 12-month magazine subscription. Ngayon ba, uso pa ba to? Magazine subscription. Di ba hindi na, no? Dati naalala ko, bata pa ako. Reader's Digest, di ba? Yung magulang ko bumibili pa ng ganun. Di ba? Pero ngayon, because of the use of the internet or cellphone already, malamang wala ng magazine. Sa San Miguel nga dati, naalala ko, dati meron kaming everyday supply of newspaper sa pumupunta sa amin. Ngayon wala na, no? Kasi why? Kasi you can use your cellphone to read, no? Yan. So, paano nangyari? A publisher owes a customer who bought a 12-month magazine subscription. So, on the part of the company or publisher, di ba? You receive cash, pero wala ka pang naibibigay sa customer mo. So, it is a liability. Malinaw ba so far?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. All right, next is equity. So, equity is basically assets, no? Minus liability, you have your equity. Ito yan, no? Or net worth. Okay? Equity is also known as net worth. Okay? Kaya nga 'di ba sa ating balance sheet of the government, no? Anong tawag? SALN, da? Statement of assets, liabilities and net worth. Net worth is also known as the equity. All right. Sige. Residual interest in the assets of the entity after deducting your liability. Ito na ha. Ito yung tanong nila kanina, di ba? Sir, ano pa kakaiba niya sa capital stock or capital sa retained earnings? Alright, walang problema if it is a sole proprietor, di ba? It is automatic, no? If you have net income or if you have other nominal account, charge to? Saan? Hello? Nandiyan pa kayo? Hi.
Capital.
Capital,
Alright,
sir.
Hey, sir.
very good. It is capital. But how about if it is a corporation? Pag corporation, yes, you have capital stock here. So there are two kinds of capital stock or stocks. You have ordinary shares and you have your preference shares or preferred. All right, so it is part of the stocks. No? How about retained earnings? Retained earnings is basically just like the capital, which is you transferred all your income, you transferred all your sales, less expenses to the retained earnings, correct? Yan. And also, if you have dividends, it is to be deducted in the retained earnings. All right. Yan. Ito yan. If the net income, report net income, it is to be reinvested and charged to the retained earnings of 100. All right. So far, so good ba? All right.
Sir,
Walang
questions.
question, ha? Oh, JJ, question.
Hindi naman, sir. Wala pa po.
Wala. Jay, sabihin mo ako pag alas 7 na, ha? Alright.
Sure, sir. No problem po.
Kasi may klase kayo nung 7:30.
Sir, question.
Siguro mga 7. Okay, question. Christian.
Sir, what's the difference between stake and equity?
What do you, difference between?
Stake and equity.
Stake?
Sir, company stake.
Stakeholder?
Same.
Ganun.
No,
Same
for
lang.
example, lang po.
Mm.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so same lang siya. Stakeholders, shareholders, equity, or stockholders, equity. Same. Okay? Okay, thank you. Okay? All right. Next. Question so far. Rusty, walang question. All right. Ana, question? Wala.
None, sir po.
All right. Eliza, wala. All right. Sige. All right. Next is ownership of the company. I think I discussed this already, no? Last time. We have, malamang, you have partnership, you have sole proprietorship, and you have your corporation. So ownership, of course, you have, if you have investors, so you have your ownership. So malamang ano to, corporation, no? Kasi you have your resources, you put resources to the business, and you will become part of the company. All right? So it is a corporation, okay? Or pwedeng partner siya. Okay? Yan, sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. All right? Or stockholders or shareholders. But in the Philippines, no, ano yung number 4? Walaan nyo. Meron na ng number
Cooperative,
4.
sir.
Ah,
Co-ops.
very good.
Co-ops.
Very good. Cooperative. Very good. Cooperative now, no? Kasi naghiwalay na sila sa corporation. Dati kasi cooperative is part of the corporation. Pero sabi ng bagong SEC now, the regulation, no? The cooperative daw should be separate to the corporation. Why? Kasi meron tayong corporate, ano yun, CDA, Cooperative Development Authority, no? The one who mandates the cooperative. All right. Partnership and corporation is under what? Securities and Exchange
SEC.
Commission or SEC. How about sole proprietorship? So if you want to
DTI.
create, very good, 'di ba?
DTI.
If you want to create your own business and if you are sole proprietorship, 'di ba pupunta kayo sa DTI. Yan. Pero pag ikaw ay bawa si Zay, si Eliza, saka si Selena, nag-create ng partnership and corporation, pupunta muna kayo sa SEC. Alright. To form a corporation or partnership. So madaming ano yan, madaming requirements yan, to create a company or your own company. Alright. Sige. So what if you have corporation? No? The portion of the equity contributed by the owners in exchange for shares of stock is called capital stock. Ayan. So meaning nag-invest si Mon sa San Miguel Corporation. Alright, so is now a stockholder. So meaning you you purchase it, no, through, let's say, through the broker, no. By the way, if you want to invest in stocks, no, we have so many uh platform, no. We have BDO Nomura, no, as what I am using now. I use BDO Nomura. Okay, we have also birthday ko pa. We have also Call Financial, no? We have also Metrobank Trade and BPI. Sino ba sa inyo may stocks?
Phil stock, sir.
Ha? Meron ka ba, Layla? Alright, meaning you have portfolio of stocks.
Yes, sir. Pero,
Yes, di ba? Ano bang napapansin mo ngayon?
yes.
For the
Sa COL,
past
sir.
COL. Ano bang napapansin mo for the past, I think 2 weeks na?
Ah,
Di ba tumataas ngayon, di ba?
medyo nagre-recover na yung market, sir.
Recover na yung market.
Yes, yes
Very
po.
good.
Compared nung first quarter. Opo.
Yes. Alam mo ba, kasi may investment ako matagal na. Because of Agsb, because of this MBA. Kasi if I'm the one who will handle financial management class in your subject, no, we will do stock market game. All right? So yung iba gusto live. Sige, go, no? Yung iba gusto nila, sir, wag ng game. Kailangan namin mag-invest, no? Alam mo ba? Yes, ginawa namin. Yung before COVID, okay pa yung market, no? During the COVID, shit, ang baba ng as in lugi ako ng 30 or 40,000 pesos because of the COVID-19, no? But ngayon nag-recover na siya. Parang lugi ko na lang ay 8,000 or 7,000 pesos. That's why if you have money, no? Sorry, baka may nagkatrabaho sa inyo sa bank. Uh, meron ba? I think meron pala, may BDO pala sa inyo dito, no? So, if you have money, okay, I encourage you to deposit in a bank. So what I mean, if you have enough cash now, invest it in stocks, diba? Kasi as time goes by, it will increase the market share of stocks. Anyway, sige. Hopefully, I'll be the one to handle the financial management. No? Yan, all right. Profit also is stockholders, so ito yung si Laila, no? Si Laila nag-invest sa Wilcon, no? Depot or BDO. So dahil siya ay nag-invest, of course, gusto ni Laila ay may dividends. Tama ba? Ano ba yung reason mo, Laila, kung bakit ka may stocks sa Call Financial? For investment lang?
Sir, not dividends eh.
Not for
Investment po.
dividends,
Kasi
investment.
dividends medyo maliit.
Very
Opo.
good. Tama ka. Maliit
Pero
siya.
yes, may dividends siya, sir. Pero
Di
may
ba,
dividends din siya, sir.
quarterly?
Every
Meron
quarter.
naman siya. Meron
Opo.
naman. Pero maliit siya, di
Quarterly.
ba?
Opo.
Minsan nga, 0.35
Opo.
centavos lang. Pero, but the value of it na, alam nyo ba, yung Jollibee Corporation, 2012, the cost of that, I remember, 62.50 per share. That was 2012 or 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Alam niyo ba, umabot yan ng 300. The highest of the Jollibee is 350 or 375, no? All right. Sa tingin niyo bakit tumataas ang value ng Jollibee? Because of their aggressive uh, in terms of their business, 'di ba? As you notice, ang dami nilang binili, 'di ba? Dati yung Chowking, 'di ba? Nabili nila yung Greenwich, nabili nila. Correct? And also Smash Burger and also the Burger King, no, in the Philippines, no. Sila na yung owner, 'di ba? As local. Okay? Yan. That's why if you have money, you have your stockholders, no? And of course, you have your profit also. All right. Yan. So in the ownership of it or in terms of your stocks, it is to be transferred to your retained earnings. All right. So you have here your retained earnings. Yan. So kailangan kung may buko pay. So kailangan mo din mag-share or kailangan ka may share in terms of their profit through dividends. All right. So retained earnings is the amount of accumulated earnings of the business that have not been distributed to the owners. All right. So yung retained earnings dito ay parang capital stock. Dito mo tinatransfer lahat ng net income or to be subtracted in terms of your net loss, or you add the sales and you minus the expenses. All right. Changes in equity. All right. So what are the component or what changes your equity? Now, as here in our example here. So ano yung nagbabawas or nag-a-add sa equity, 'di ba? We have net income, we have revenue, we have expenses, and we have drawings. All right. Same lang siya din sa corporation, no? Equity increases when the owner have additional investment. Dito kasi wala tayong additional investment, 'di ba? What if nag-invest ulit? No? Yes, you will add investment here. All right. And also if we have profit, that's why we add the net income here, correct? All right. What else? What equity or what are the causes of the equity that will decrease, no? So drawings, diba? Owners take back part of the investment, so may drawings ka, right? When you have net loss and dividends, yan, the dividends of it. So sa corporation, dividends ang tawag, okay? Pero sa sole proprietorship, sa partnership, it is called drawings, no? Yan, parang gusto mong kunin yung investment mo. Clear ba? So far clear is my discussion. Nandyan pa kayo? Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
Okay, Phoebe. Alright, sige. Hopefully, hindi kayo inaantok, ha? Alright. Sige. So, again, we go back to our accounting equation. Asset is equals to liabilities plus your owner's equity. Alright. Resources here, liabilities and equity is the funding, no? So, liabilities, creditors, owner's equity is owner's claim against resources. So, same. We decrease by dividends, we increase by investment. So, to summarize everything lang. Alright. account equation gives you the glimpse of double entry system. Ano nga ang double entry system? Again, Jinky? So, review tayo ha. I think for the past 3 weeks, we discussed this. The accounting cycle. Ano nga ang double entry system, Jinky? Alright, wala si Jinky. Richard. Ano nga ang double entry system?
Having two accounts, sir.
Having two accounts and okay, very good. Pero ano yung essence? Alright, sige. Yes, having two accounts. What else? Shane, Diasca, sorry.
Hi, sir. On the double entry accounting
Mm.
means that every debit should have a
Yun.
double credit.
Very good. So if you have debit, you have also credit. Ano pa? May isa pa. Alright, very good, Shane. Meron pa. Okay, what do you mean of double entry system? Mafi? Hindi niyo pa nasasabi yung pinaka-essence of the double entry system, Mafi. Alright, wala si Mafi. Pam? Pam, Dakusin?
Hi, sir.
Mm-hmm. Alright, sure.
For every entry to account requires a corresponding opposite entry to different account.
Alright, yes, same. So, ano yung
Same.
pinaka-essence? Sige, okay, thank you, Pam.
Balance po, sir.
Alright, sige. It should be?
Should balance, sir.
Very good. It should be balanced always, diba? Yes, Jinkies. Okay. Sira yung ano mo. Okay. Sorry, hindi ko namit. Okay, Jinkies. So, sabi ni Jinky, double entry has to equal. Okay, very good. Pero ano yung pinaka-essence? Your debit should always be equal to your credit, no? Diba? If you debit 10,000, your credit should also be 10,000. Hindi pwedeng 12,000 debit, your credit is 11,000, no? May 1,000 na disbalance. Alright, very good. Double entry system or double entry accounting is also known as principles of balance or the principles of bookkeeping. Alright. Sige, ito na. Okay, as discussed a while ago, what are the component of or the format of the balance sheet? Now, as you notice, kanina, in our example, we have only one account, which is assets lang. Yeah? Assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. As you notice in this example, you have now current assets, we have now non-current assets, and we have total assets. All right. What do you mean of current assets?
Hi,
Anyone?
sir.
Okay, sure. Rika.
I think current assets are assets that are easily liquidated, whereas non-current assets
All
are
right.
yung mga fixed like land and
All right.
equipment.
Very good. So current assets is, sabi ni Rika, is easily be liquidated, okay? Or to be collected, no, within 1 year, okay? And operating cycle or the within the operating cycle, whichever is longer. Sir, what do you mean of that? Current assets is basically it is no part of your assets which can be collected, or part of it is within a normal operating cycle or 1 year, whichever is longer. What do you mean of this? Receivable, kahit yan ay more than 1 year, but if it is part of your operating cycle, still it is part of your current assets. 'Di ba? For example, ano ba to? Tea company, Hoho Tea Company. So, ano siya, parang ano tawag doon? Mga Gongcha or ano nga yung sikat ngayon?
Milk
Macau
tea.
Imperial, no? Macau Tea. Alam nyo ba ang Macau Imperial Tea? Kilala nyo may-ari niyan?
I
But,
think,
but I
sir,
mean, hindi
graduate
naman,
po ata siya ng MBA ng Ateneo.
MBA siya
Tama
ng
ba? He was one
Ateneo.
of the
Yeah.
speakers nung ORSAM.
Yes, very good. Siya ay MBA sa Ateneo. Alright. Kaya very proud dapat tayo, no? Kasi siya yung ano, 'di ba? This siya yung number one kasi ngayon yung Macau Imperial Milk Tea, no? Yan. Siya pala yung nag-ano sa inyo speaker sa ORSEM. Tama ba?
Yes,
Alright.
sir. Siya po.
Online na. Alright. Sige. So, meaning, kahit yan ay more than 1 year, pero part siya ng business mo as tea company, is still part of the current assets. Alright. So, ano yung mga sample ng current assets? Cash, of course. Receivables, inventories, prepaid expenses, supplies. Short-term investment is also part of the current assets. How about non-current assets? So usually dito ay property, plant and equipment. Ano pa? Intangible assets. What else? Long-term investment. Wala dito, no? Ayan. Pero kadalasan, ang nandito ay property, plant and equipment. Land, plant and equipment. Yan. As you notice, only the plant and equipment has accumulated depreciation or contra asset. Wala ang land, di ba? Yan. So meaning just add just have this, no, sorry. You add the current assets with your non-current, no? So you have your total assets 9240 and 9712. O ano naman yung non-current assets? So basically it is a long-term assets, no, which can be used for more than 1 year. Okay? Yan. Okay. Next. Yan. So be particular about this date, no? So, 'di ba kanina sabi ko as of December 31, 2016 or as of, okay? So particular date also. Okay? So you have assets, so liquidity. So sabi ni Rika kanina, it is based on to be liquidated. Tama yan, no? So isa pa is liquidity. Okay? So una muna yung cash, receivables, inventories, prepaid, and then the long term. Okay? To be classified as part of your current assets. All right. All right. How about liabilities? Yes, still liquidity, pero some book, no, it is called order of the date of maturity also. All right. So as you notice, you have also liabilities and equity. So you have current and you have non-current. What do you mean of current liability? It is to be paid within 1 year. Okay. uh, or within normal operating cycle, whichever is longer. Again, kahit yan accounts payable mo to be paid 2 years from now, pero it is part of the ordinary business. Let's say, kung tea company ka, so dapat tea company din yung accounts payable mo. Okay? What I mean, pagbili mo ng tea, no, ng mga ingredients ng tea. Pero what if ibang bagay, condominium business, iba na siya, no? It is not part of the current liability. It is now part of non-current liability. How about non-current? Now, it is to be paid now within or with more than 1 year. So usually, bonds payable, nandiyan, long-term, other liabilities. Current naman, you have short-term loans, you have accounts payable, salaries payable, income tax. Basta it is to be paid within 1 year. Alright, so ito walang problema. So ano yung bago in terms of equity in a corporation? Your capital stock. So malamang it is an ordinary shares. Again, there are two kinds of equity. You have ordinary shares and you have your preference shares. Alright, ordinary shares is basically stable ka, and ordinary shares is basically you are the owner of the company. How about preference shares? You are only entitled to dividends. The reason why it is preference or preferred, because you are preferred in terms of pag nalugi ang company, ikaw yung unang babayaran if you are preference shares. In terms of dividends, ikaw din yung unang babayaran. Ang tira-tira ay nasa capital stock. Pero more stable is the capital stock if you want to become stockholders of the company. All right. You have also retained earnings. No? Retained earnings here is basically the accumulation of your profit, no, and loss also. All right. And other equity, let's say you have other equity. let's say mga prior period adjustment, etc. Okay. It is to be discussed naman in the higher accounting. As you notice, if you add 5749 with a 3491, it is 9240. Ito yung total ha. 6668 plus 3344, you have 9712. Parehas ba? Yes. Take note of this. In your Strama, in your last day of Strama, if I'll be your panel, ano yung una kong tinitingnan? Your balance sheet. If it is balance. Dito nakakamali ang mga estudyante. Pero siguro na na-overlook lang. 92409712. Dapat balance yan ha. Alright. Minsan may difference na 10 piso or yan. Alright. So, comparative FS also. Ayan. Alright. Under International Accounting Standards or ES1 Provision 57, sabi niya does not require an order or format in which the company has the balance sheet. So, wala naman pala. Ba't pa natin kailangan i-arrange? Kasi sabi naman dito, ES1, wala naman daw. Does not require or order of format. What do you think is the reason why we follow this? Tingin niya. Kay Alviar. Sige nga. Ano yung reason kung bakit? Wala naman palang reason na there is a but because of the ES na. Okay? Very good. Easier reference na. Thank you, Jinky. What else? Di ba mas madali siya? In your worksheet, as you notice, di ba, mas madali siya if it is arranged in liquidity. Correct? Yan. So, pag prepare mo dito, mas madali siya. Di ba? Easy reference. What else? Kasi yun na yung practice matagal na. Okay? For me, mas madali siyang i-arrange no, if it is based on liquidity. Alright, yan. Ito kasi pa iba-iba. May non-current, property plant, may goodwill, tapos nasa baba yung non-current. Diba? Ayan. Sa baba yung current assets. Mayroon naman iba sa euro pala. Tama. Sa euro, nauna mo na yung non-current and followed by current. Okay lang naman yan. Okay? Ayan. So, liquidity pabaliktad, no? Ayan. Alright. Sige. But in the Philippines, anong ginagamit? Ito yun, ha? Non-current, current, and non-current. Alright. So far question. Ano oras na ba? 6:43. Question so far? Hi.
Answer.
Dayan.
Wala pa
Alright,
naman.
wala.
Yes, sir.
Alright. What are the limitations of balance sheet? Accountants record many assets at their purchase cost, not at the current market value. Di ba siya notice? The balance sheet, the income statement are all based on historical costs. What if all of a sudden, no, the value of the land increases. So, hindi mo na siya i-record. Why? Because the cost of the land, you record it as purchase cost, not the market value. So, ito yung mga limitations of the balance sheet. Okay? Not all economic assets are included in the balance sheet. For example, yung mga reputations, yung mga copyright, although copyright is part of the intangible assets, pero yung technology itself, di ba, hindi. Because of the reputations. No? Technology, semiconductor, the talent of it, di ba? O let's say si David Ramirez, di ba? Napakagaling. Yung bang talent mo, David, ay nare-record ng company. Di ba hindi? Di ba? Alright, si Martin Cruda, napakagaling, pinakamagaling sa company nila. Alright? Your talent ba, sorry. Your part of your talent ba or your professional talent no is part of the company. Martin. Alright, wala ata sila. Alright. I'm just texting.
Sir.
Alright. Sige. Alright, sige. Anyway, I'm just testing you if you are there. Alright, anyway. Alright, limitations of the balance sheet, no? Accounting book value. Alright, what do you mean of book value? So book value is assets minus accumulated depreciation. That's the book value. How about the market value? That's the measured by the market value in terms of the stocks, right? So as you notice, 'di ba, ang laki ng difference ng market value versus the book value. Correct? Alright, that's why ito yung mga limitations ng ating balance sheet. 'Di ba? Ang laki. No? Why? Again, balance sheet is based on the historical cost. Alright. Quiz yourself. Okay? Just read na lang to. So if you have that, no, just add all the reported assets in the appendix B, ha? Okay, just read na lang to, no? So just add the liabilities, also the equity finance. What would be the reported assets, goodwill, or largest? So you have your goodwill. All right. So just go to the appendix now. All right. Next. By the way, question about statement of financial position. Say.
None, sir.
All right. Wala. Okay, wala. All
Question.
right. Sige.
No question.
Next. All right. Next is statement of comprehensive income or statement of profit or loss. All right. Number one is you have your revenue, no? So revenue, amount of assets created through the sale of goods and services. So performance of services, delivery of goods are part of the revenue, 'di ba? So as what I discussed last meeting. All right. And you have expenses, so costs incurred in the normal business course operations of the business. By the way, revenue and expenses, we will follow accrual or cash basis of accounting. Katrina. Statement of comprehensive income, we will follow what? All right, no worries, David. All right, Katrina, what is the we will follow ba accrual or cash basis of accounting in terms of the revenue and expenses?
Sir, accrual.
Very good. Accrual basis of accounting. Why accrual? Because we record revenue when it is earned, regardless when there's a collection, no, from your customer. Expenses naman, we record it as expenses when it is incurred, no, regardless when it is to be paid, no, to your supplier. So yan. Okay. Net income, if your revenue is more than your expenses, you have your net income. How about if it is otherwise, you have your net loss. All right, as what we discussed a while ago. Yan. Diba? Ito yan. Revenue less expenses, you have your net income. All right. Same. So, component of statement of comprehensive income. Okay, go back to the accounting equation. So, as you notice, so the revenue here is to be transferred to the equity. Bakit, sir, asset will also increase? Because you will also increase your cash, diba? You will also increase your account receivable or cash or account receivable. That's why you increase your equity, you increase also your assets. How about expenses? If you decrease, sorry, if you have expenses, you will decrease your equity. Okay? Also, you will decrease your assets. Why decrease assets? Because you pay it on cash. Okay? Or pwede rin, liability. Diba? Pero liability is to increase. Why? Because debit expenses, credit payable. All right. All right. Net income is positive. Net loss naman is negative. All right. All right. Not all inflows of assets are revenue. Tama ba? Ito yung kadalasan na question sa akin. Sir, why is it that we have more cash pero bakit kami net loss? What do you think is the reason for that? We have a lot of cash. How come that we have net loss? Or meron naman sinasabi, wala kaming cash, we have not enough cash, but net income naman kami. Di ba? Ganun yung karamihan na ang akala nila, if you have cash, you have net income. Okay? Hindi yun ha? Why? Because we will follow accrual basis of accounting. Diba? We record revenue when it is earned, regardless when it is or when you have collection from your customers. So yun yung reason kung bakit ganun. No? Or minsan, the reason why you have not enough cash pero net income ka, minsan ay nagbabayad ka ng utang, diba? Or karamihan ay nag-invest ka. Okay? You purchase more property, plant, and equipment. So, yun ha. Alright. Borrowing money. Of course, if you borrow money, you increase cash. Diba? And you increase equity. Tama ba? Parang may mali dito. Borrowing money from a bank. Why equity is revenue? So, for me, it should be liability. Should be liability. Sorry, may mali dito. No? Should be liability. Alright? Bakit, bakit may revenue when you borrow bank? Ano, mali nga. Alright? So, you have liability here. Okay? I'm just testing you, no? Okay. Take note of that. Alright. Next. Not all outflows. Ito yung reason, no? Okay? Ito yung reason kung bakit ang dami mong pera, pero net loss ka. Tama? Kasi, nangutang ka ng pera sa bangko. You have assets, and you have more liability. Alright. Not all outflows naman of assets are expenses. Tama ba? Why? What if you buy supplies? Expenses ba? Alright, no. It is also your assets. What is the entry for this? Debit, supplies, and credit cash. Yung iba, sabi nila, is part of your expenses. No, you're just buying supplies. But when you adjust that, diba you will adjust that at the end. So meaning it will become part of your expense. Alright. So other comprehensive income. So it includes gains or losses. So bakit pala siya tinatawag na comprehensive income? Kasi it is for the higher accounting ha. We include the OCI or other comprehensive income. We include also unrealized gains and losses due to the due to the foreign exchange, no. Sige, I will not discuss this anymore, no? Kasi medyo higher accounting siya. Pero just read na lang all of this kasi you have foreign translation, foreign currency. Alright, wag na to ha. For me, what I want you to learn more about the basic lang about statement of profit or loss. Wag na to. Okay? So ito yun ha. 'Di ba? Ito yung our discussion is only revenue, less expense, minus you have your net income. Ito yung bago dito, other comprehensive income. So if there's a foreign currency translation, if there's a gain or loss, so isasama mo siya sa other comprehensive income. Wag na. I'm gonna discuss that na. Ayan. Buti dito walang comprehensive income. So same, 'di ba? So maybe after this we will discuss about the merchandising. So ito yung bago ngayon, cost of goods sold, 'di ba? Sa atin in terms of the service, wala tayong cost of goods sold, correct? Sige, later I will discuss this na. So sales less cost of goods sold, you have gross profit, less expenses, and you add interest expense and other expenses. You have your income before income tax, and you have income tax expense. So you have net income. So yan. 'Di ba? Sabi ko, it is for the year ended. Now, as you notice here, for the period ended, for the year ended. Why? Sabi kanina, it is not a real account. It is a nominal account and to be close to your capital or retained earnings. Kaya it is called for the year ended, for the period ended, for the period of time. Okay. Yan, comparative FS also. Alright. Non-operating and operating categories, no? So, non-operating, ito ay mga hindi connected sa inyong usual or ordinary course of business. Let's say, ikaw ay nagtitinda ng tea or Macau Imperial Tea. Yeah? So, ano yung mga hindi kasali? Interest revenue, malamang you invest it in one particular company, the interest expense, the tax expense. No? It's not part of non-operating activities. All right. So, gains and loss. So, ito yung mga kasama sa other comprehensive income. For example, foreign translation or refer to money made or loss outside the normal business of the company. Nagbenta ka ng sasakyan. All right. Gains and loss. Yan. So, meaning it is the other gains and loss no, in your statement of comprehensive income. Okay? Just read na lang this. Okay? Yan. And you have also earnings per share. So maybe I will not discuss the earnings per share to be discussed further when we are now in the management accounting. All right. All right. Statement or single statement, and you have two separate statements. So here, IAS number 1 allows company to present comprehensive income into separate statement, income statement and statement of comprehensive income that starts with the amount of the net income. All right, so, di ba? So, pwede natin gawin to, no? All right. So, add all the other income, no? All right. Just read na lang all of this, no? All right. Ito then, just go to the appendix later. No? I will give you this PowerPoint. Okay. All right. Anong oras na? 6:57. All right, sige. Maybe we can end this na statement of equity. All right. In the sole proprietorship, as you notice, we have only beginning plus net income. You have drawings and capital. Tingnan nyo, in terms of the capital stock. Sorry, in terms of the corporation. Di ba kakaiba siya? Di ba? First thing is you have your capital stock. Correct? And you have your retained earnings. As you notice, the retained earnings here is you have your net income, not in the capital stock, huh? And the net income for 2016 is also added to the retained earnings. And if you have dividends, it is to be subtracted, no, in your retained earnings. Okay, so gawin nyo lang, just add these two. And other equity, you have 3131 and 213. Then you have your balance for 2016. You add again the net income and you less the dividends. And you have now the balance of December 31, 2017. Kakaiba siya in terms of this. Correct? So same lang naman, no? Basta the essence here is the net income are all to be transferred to your retained earnings, not on the capital stock. All right. Shows the changes in retained earnings during the period, and you have your retained earnings. What is the formula for the ending? Beginning retained earnings plus net income less dividends, you have your ending. Same as this, no? As you notice, it is to be close to the capital. Same lang naman, okay? Again, but in corporation, it is to be transferred to your retained earnings. All right. Next, so statement of comprehensive income to the balance sheet. All right. So, di ba, as you notice here, the 611 here is part of the balance sheet dapat. Okay? As you notice here, 105 is also part of the balance sheet. Tama ba? Yes, 105. Isa pa rin yan, tinitingnan ko when you are now in your strama. Dapat yung statement of retained earnings, statement of your equity, the balance ending should be reflected, no, in the balance sheet of the capital or retained earnings. Pag yan ay hindi parehas, ay, okay. Ano nangyari? Alright. Why is retained earning or what is retained earnings? So this is retained earnings is the amount of business earnings that have been retained in the business and used to reinvested back in the business by pay or to pay down the debt. So meaning you have appropriated and unappropriated earnings. So meaning you can have savings in terms of paying your business. No? So the earnings that have not been retained in the business have been distributed to owners in the form of dividends. Yan. So ikaw to, earnings. So gusto mong pataasin yung earnings mo. Then you can reinvest that and you repay your debts. And you have your distribution of dividends. So ganun lang. Okay? Why is not retained, what is not retained earnings? So ano yung mga hindi? Okay, retained earnings is not cash. So hindi ibig sabihin na if you have retained earnings, you have cash, 'di ba? Sometimes it may be formed in the cash, but it is more likely that the cash has been used or purchased to pay off liabilities. All right, sige. I will end this now in the statement of retained earnings. Kasi cash flows will be discussed further in our last module. So far, any question? The time, 7 o'clock, sakto. So far, question. Helen, question?
None, sir.
Malinaw? Alright, Shane, question? None, sir. Okay. Richard, wala? Alright, so if none, some of you have class pa after this? Tama, Shade, oh. Alam ko si Shade may klase. Alright.
Yes,
Minette?
sir.
Sir.
Question. Richard.
Sir? Ay, okay.
Minette. Sorry, Minette pala.
Yes po. Sir, I have a question.
Alright.
Can you provide po sample exercises of the
Yes.
topics that we discussed
Alright,
para
sure.
so that we can familiarize din, sir?
Sure. Later, I will, yes, I have now with me your exercises. No? Maybe I will, what I will give you is what do you call that? Preparation or computations on how to compute for asset, liabilities, owner's equity, then the closing of your capital account, no, to so you have if you have net income, if you have net loss, yes, to be uploaded now. And then also I will give you to prepare your worksheet at the same time preparation of the FS. Mahirap ba? Minette, mahirap?
Medyo, sir, kasi parang I'm still refreshing yung mga
Refreshing.
accounting from college.
Alright, sige. Sige, ito muna. Gagawin ko muna is fundamentals muna about it, no? So then, para at least ano lang. Then after that, I will give you the worksheet na para yan. Sige. Thank you, Minette,
Sige,
for that.
medyo na-trauma ako sa accounting nung college.
Na-trauma ka. No worries. Pero ngayon ba mas madali na or
okay naman po. Parang nagpa-flashback pero parang easier
nagpa-flash?
to understand.
Pero ngayon ba mas easier to understand? Or
Opo. Sir, I'm not sure if you know, pero Miss Velasco was my prof before.
Miss
Elsie
Velasco?
Velasco.
Ano name? Familiar. LCO, Lasal.
Velasco.
Wow.
Yes po. So,
Kamusta
one of
naman?
the terror profs ng accounting.
Oo
So,
nga. Sinabi mo
so
pa.
medyo natawa.
Sino ba dito mga taga Lasal dito? During our, BSA ka ba?
Hindi po, sir.
Hindi. During,
Economics.
pag kami may meeting sa Lasal, lagi siyang, lagi siyang, gusto niya, lagi siyang magkasalita, no?
Yes
Diba?
po.
Kilala niyo si,
Dean of Accounting.
si Miss Elsie. Hanggang ngayon, nagtuturo pa din siya, no? Siya yung sa basic accounting. Ayan. Ano pala si Ma'am? Terror pala yun. Kala ko ano lang yun, pa-joke-joke.
All Velasco,
Pa-joke-joke.
sir.
Parang
all Velasco.
Oo, pa-joke-joke lang yun eh. Alright. No worries. No. If you have question, don't hesitate to message me sorry, yung Tuesday pala is nasa FB, di ba? Yung Thursday nasa Viber, okay? Just message me anytime, okay? Pasensya na if ever di ako nakaka-reply. Kung busy lang naman, pero di ba? At least kung hindi, just message me. Minute na, okay?
Sir, question po.
Alright, Rusty.
Just to set yung expectation lang po namin. Kailan po yung first quiz ever?
First midterm is after module 4. So we are now in module 2. Pwedeng November. Okay? by
Pero in the
November.
middle po, wala na pong mga quizzes.
Wala na. You have only one. Don't worry, your midterm is very ano lang. I think madali, sobrang dali. Multiple choice. Okay. Then after that is you have your final paper, which is FS analysis. So the part 2 is, so we have break naman, Christmas break, 'di ba? Tama ba? We will end on January. Tama, no?
Yes,
I
sir.
think
No,
yes.
just po yung calendar, yeah.
So pwedeng I will give you the groupings na by November para at least maka-start na kayo in preparing the FS analysis. At least you have Christmas break. Yung final paper natin, yun yung final exam nyo. Okay, madali lang naman yung ano. Alright, nagre-ready na si Rusty, ah. Alright. Tama. Alright, question pa? So if none, expect that I will upload it again no, in your respective canvas. And then also the PowerPoint and also the Excel. Okay. And then I will give you assignment. No? So yun nga, minute, don't worry. I will give you the basic muna about the accounting. Okay. Miguel, question?
None,
Alright.
sir.
Alright, none. Sige, para you can prepare for the next class at 7:30. So 7:06 or 7:07. Alright, if none, thank you sa greetings pala ha, last Tuesday. Alright,
Thank you,
sige.
sir. Belated
Alright.
happy birthday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Alright, sige.
sir. Happy birthday po ulit.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Bye po.
Alright.
Thank you po,
Sige,
sir.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Good
bye-bye.
night.
See you on Tuesday and Thursday next week. Alright, bye-bye.
Okay.
Sige,
Thanks, sir.
bye. Alright.